First day on the field of training camp. First day of at least some small surprises, but not at the position where the greatest potential for surprises remains. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Steelers. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into hockey and or baseball, I also offer daily shots of Penguins and Pirates. Spent the day again yesterday in Latrobe, right there on the sideline. That's how you get to cover these things. Not just seeing the practice unfold, but hearing everything that they're saying. And it's a fun, fascinating way to navigate a sports scene. I'm not going to lie to you. It's one of my favorite things to do all year, meaning from this standpoint, the business standpoint. But as the Steelers began going about their business, and I'm looking for all the little changes, assignments, hints at depth charts, indications of which way the Arthur Smith offense might favor this player or this formation over another. The closest anything came to a surprise, well, it was the obvious one that Russell Wilson wasn't participating. Woke up early yesterday morning with a stiff calf. Mike Tomlin seized upon that and actually joked about exactly that later by asking Wilson to just watch and giving Justin Fields a chance to have what was a pretty nice morning of his own. As I've been saying all summer, anybody who thinks of Fields just from the standpoint of his running is missing out on a lot because he can throw the football. But everywhere else, pretty much as had been expected. The only rookie who ran with the first team on either side of the ball, even part of the time, was Peyton Wilson. I was really happy about that. Wilson was out there next to Patrick Queen. I have believed all along that he's had the best chance to be that guy, meaning to be that rookie who contributes right away. And that dude can fly. And he showed that with some of his pursuits in this session. But everywhere else that a rookie could have started, they didn't. Troy Fautanu wasn't with the first team. Zach Frazier wasn't with the first team. And Roman Wilson wasn't with the first two spots on the wide receiver depth chart, those going to George Pickens and Calvin Austin. But if you know me, I kept my eyes and, by the way, my ears wide open as it related to the offensive line. I don't see daylight for this offense unless the line comes together in a great big hurry. And I'm talking about, if not necessarily by Atlanta, then within the first 2 or 3 weeks. And because I feel that way, I'd rather see them get set sooner rather than later. The way it was here, though, was, well, just like it ended last season, or close to it. Dan Moore was right back at left tackle, as if nothing had changed. The guards, of course, were Isaac Seumalo and James Daniels. The center was the veteran Nate Herbig, and the right tackle, again, was Broderick Jones. I spent a pretty good amount of time with Jones after this practice. He seemed to be in some really wound-up mood, which is kind of cool. Now, before I get into the positional stuff or the switching or whatever, I ran by him that this sort of tempo to his personality seems to be more prevalent, I feel like, since the final month of last season.
You feel like you grew up and opened up a little bit the final month of last season? You know, it seemed like you were more vocal. You were more...
just being at this level, I feel like everybody has a voice, you know what I'm saying, because everybody's good. So, I just try and continue to, and like at the college level, that really wasn't my role. I didn't try and play the role of like the vocal leader. I was more so of a see and do type of guy, you know what I'm saying? So, just trying to broaden the spectrum of everything, and we'll see where it go from there.
When he said broaden, by the way, he stretched out his arms to emphasize the point, and he covered half of Westmoreland County with a shadow in doing so. But no, I'd also asked him, did they tell you you're going to be staying at right tackle? He said, no, they haven't told me anything yet. I'm just going to go do whatever it is that they asked me to do. But I'm sorry, I don't see this one as holding up. There's one really obvious reason for that, and that's that you don't invest a first-round pick in a Fautanu without intending to use him and to use him in short order. That's, in fact, the same roadmap that Jones took last season. First opportunity that Tomlin had to throw Chuks Okorafor out on his ear, he did so. The other variable is that, as much as left tackle and right tackle are starting to be seen as having similar value, but I don't think you're going to have anyone anywhere argue that they're identical value. When you get yourself someone of Jones's caliber, you trade up to get someone of Jones's caliber, and he's a natural left tackle while Fautanu is a natural right tackle. You really don't need to be overthinking this. So my feeling is that's going to sort itself out. Probably in Latrobe, maybe in the preseason, but definitely at some stage of the first month of the real games. And I got to share this with you too, because this is pretty cool stuff that really stands out in my eyes when I see it. Jones spent so much extra time on the field with Fautanu. And you know what I'm going to say to that, because Moore did the same thing with Jones, and it's been passed on in a very healthy dynamic that offensive line had developed way before these kids came along. That they have to be assisting each other. They have to be building each other up as opposed to tearing each other down in terms of competition. And you think I'm going to say, well, it's so magnanimous of Jones and everything. And it is. And full credit to Jones. But what really caught my attention about these scenarios between the two of them was the way Fautanu had his eyes wide open and just focused so passionately on everything that Jones was showing him or explaining to him. The other stuff, and it's a good thing, has become the norm. Having someone be that level of student, I'm probably making too much of it, but I made a mental note to myself to share this with you, so I'm sharing it with you. When we come back, J1Q. Luxembourg, Garbett, Kelly, and George. LGKG is a personal injury law firm in Western Pennsylvania that represents people hurt in car accidents or who need help with workers' comp or medical malpractice. When the attorneys at LGKG make you a promise, they keep it. They've been keeping promises in our region for over 80 years. LGKG's been AV rated, the highest rating a law firm can receive, and they've been designated super lawyers. That's actually a thing for over 15 years. It's a rare combination. LGKG has offices in Cranberry, Newcastle, Beaver Falls, Butler, and Elwood City. Learn more about them by visiting lgkg.com or by calling 888-842-5454. LGKG. Today's J1Q comes from Slim, who says, hey, DK, looks like the Steelers aren't going to be getting another big-name wide receiver. So do you think that Calvin Austin or Roman Wilson has what it takes to be that second wide receiver behind George Pickens? Well, Slim, in fairness, you sent me this question before Friday Insider was published on our website, DK Pittsburgh Sports, this morning. You will want to go read this. It's original exclusive reporting by our beat writer, Chris Halleck, that lays out internal discussions from the Steelers about how they are convinced they're going to land, eventually, one of three wide receivers from the outside: Brandon Ayuk, DK Metcalf, and this one kind of threw me, Tyreek Hill. As for what's the holdup, that should be obvious. It takes two to make a deal. Omar Khan is really patient. He'd prefer to wait for the right deal since, nothing that they're doing between now and Atlanta counts. So if that were to occur, meaning the Steelers were to acquire someone of that caliber, then what you would have is a situation, I believe, where you can label them 1, 2, however it is that you choose, but you would have 2 starting feature wide receivers in Pickens and fill in the blank with one of those 3 names, Ayuk, Metcalf, or Hill. And from there, you would get the likes of Austin and Wilson involved as related to different sets or subbing in or replacing someone due to injury. But yeah, I'll bet you weren't expecting that answer, huh? It's funny how that works with the timing of this show coming out first thing Friday morning. But that's the outlook from the inside. Now, if you take that information that you just got from our outlets reporting and you match it up with a lot of the stuff that Khan was saying yesterday at his press conference at St. Vincent College, all of the puzzle pieces fit. All of them. Khan spoke openly about valuing that cap space that he still has. Spoke openly about the possibility of adding a wide receiver. I'll throw in parentheses that he said that there isn't much going on right now, but I'll repeat as well that things don't need to be happening right now. End parentheses. So on that note, stop listening to me and go read Friday Insider on our website. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everyone who listens to Daily Shot of Steelers, but I really appreciate being back on a football field as I've been the past couple of days. We'll hook up again here next Monday.